We spend so much time watching the horizon for the next big AI thing, right? The GPT-5 hype, the massive model announcements.
We do. But honestly, I find the most impactful upgrades aren't always these huge version jumps.
Yeah.
They're often these quieter, subtle feature additions, things that are already live in the system you're probably using.
And these are the ones that really change the interaction, I suppose, moving AI from being like a slightly smarter search engine.
Exactly. To a true partner in your workflow in learning.
Okay.
So today, we're going to do a deep dive into those kinds of updates. We're looking at 3 specific new features designed to make getting knowledge and handling complex tasks, well, vastly simpler for you, provided, of course, you've got that Plus subscription turned on.
Yeah.
That's kind of key for these power tools.
Gotcha. So it's like turning your AI from that, smart friend who just answers questions into maybe a proactive coworker or even neat teacher.
A proactive coworker and a surprisingly patient, adaptive teacher. That's a great way to put it. So our roadmap today covers 3 main things. First, this personalized learning thing called study mode.
Okay.
Then the really powerful workflow automating agent mode.
Agent mode, right.
And finally, how ChatGPT is now starting to connect directly with your everyday apps, like Google Calendar and Gmail.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. Let's start with that first one, study and learn mode.
Right.
I can see this being huge for anyone facing that, mountain of information, trying to tackle a new complex topic, say, macroeconomics or something. The sheer volume online can be, paralyzing.
It absolutely creates instant overload. And this mode, I think, is a pretty elegant solution. It kind of eliminates that anxiety of just starting a complex topic.
How so?
Well, it doesn't just dump a long article on you. It acts more like your own personal structured teacher. And that's a major difference.
Tell me more about that structure then. How does it work?
The core functionality is that it creates a formal, paced learning plan. It moves really systematically from the most basic ideas, the foundations,
up toward more advanced knowledge. So it makes sure you build those conceptual pillars first.
Okay.
And crucially, it delivers this info in short, easy-to-digest chunks. It doesn't let you get lost in some 10-paragraph explanation.
That pacing feels essential for actually understanding, not just, skimming.
And what makes it uniquely effective, I think, for long-term memory, which is the whole point of learning, right?
Right.
Is that it integrates active recall. It regularly stops and asks you questions, checks your understanding right then and there.
Oh.
And that process helps move the knowledge from short-term into your long-term storage.
I love the practical application of cognitive science there. So let's use the example you mentioned, learning about the circular economy as a beginner. What's the interaction actually like?
Okay, so the prompt is dead simple, something like, turn on study and learn mode and teach me about the circular economy.
Easy enough. And the AI responds with a clear plan, like a syllabus.
Yeah.
It might say, okay, we'll cover the basic intro, then compare it to the traditional linear economy, move on to main ideas like stopping waste, and finish with some real examples.
Thus it sets expectations right away, and I like that check-in step you mentioned. After it explains the basics, stop waste, reuse materials, help nature regenerate, it then asks a specific question, multiple choice or short answer.
Exactly. It might ask, what is the primary goal of the circular economy model?
Yeah.
And here's the good part. If you miss it, if you get the nuance wrong, it doesn't just say wrong. It gently re-explains that specific point you missed, often using a different angle or analogy.
Ah, personalized feedback.
Right, which makes it an incredible tool for actually making things stick. For retention.
Yeah, I can see this being useful all over for students learning, photosynthesis.
Sure.
Professionals needing SEO basics before a meeting, or just anyone curious about how something complex works.
Exactly. It manages the complexity by just giving you the very next step you need.
Okay, so probing question then. Since it breaks complexity down into these small chunks, how does this mode ensure the learner still gets the big picture? The overall view.
It forces that continuous check on knowledge through quizzes, and structures content progressively, basically from 0 to mastery.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Now let's shift gears from learning passively to active execution.
Yes.
This is where agent mode comes in, right? You said it shifts the AI from an answerer, that box you ask questions to a doer. And this is where it gets really interesting, you mentioned.
Yeah, I think this represents maybe the biggest shift in how we interact with these systems in a long time. An AI agent, basically, is a system that can take a really big, complicated, multi-step goal,
okay,
break it down into smaller, solvable tasks, and then actually execute those steps on its own.
Execute using what? What tools does it have?
It uses external tools, things like a web browser, a code interpreter, sometimes even a virtual computer environment. It uses these to carry out the steps it planned. And here's the kind of revolutionary part. If a step fails, maybe a website link is broken or something, the agent doesn't just stop.
It doesn't.
No. It recognizes the failure, adjusts its plan, and tries a different approach to still reach the final goal. It's this dynamic, self-correcting loop that older systems just didn't have.
That self-correction, that feels like the key insight we needed.
Honestly, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes. When you try to automate multi-step things, prompt drift. It's like 3 steps into a long task. The AI starts forgetting the rules you set way back in the first sentence. Agents help manage that internal complexity. They keep the focus on the end goal.
That admission actually really highlights the agent's power, doesn't it? It tackles stuff that takes hours manually. Let's use that real-world example, finding and comparing online English-speaking courses for working folks.
Okay, yeah. So the user gives it a really specific restrictive prompt. They need native teachers, cost under $80 a month, and classes have to be after 7 p.m. local time.
If you did that by hand,
Yeah.
wow, you'd be clicking through maybe 20 different websites, right? 10 tabs open, probably a spreadsheet.
Easily. But the agent handles it. So step 1 is planning and research. It figures out the right keywords, runs the Google searches.
Okay.
Step 2 is filtering and validation. It actually clicks into the search results, looks for the pricing pages, the schedule pages, and it filters out any school that doesn't meet those 3 specific rules.
And step 3.
Synthesis. It builds the final comparison table, showing only the options that actually work.
Yeah.
It's not just summarizing a search. It's doing a full, multi-criteria research project.
That saves hours.
It eliminates hours of just slogging through websites, yeah.
Oh, just imagining that level of complexity handled automatically. The searching, the checking, the reporting back, it really does save hours of manual comparison. That's scalability right there.
We do need to be clear on security, though. Complex tasks like this, they can sometimes take a bit, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You can let it run in the background. But crucially, the agent will pause if it hits something like a CAP-UTTCHA or a website login page.
So it asks the user for help then. It doesn't try to guess.
Absolutely. You have to manually intervene. And you should never, ever give the AI your passwords or credit card numbers or any sensitive details like that.
That's a good point.
And always, always double-check the really critical info it brings back, like prices or dates. Check for accuracy before you act on its report.
Good caveats. Okay, so beyond just the searching part, what would you say is the single biggest time saver with this agent function?
It autonomously searches, filters against your rules, and builds the final report, dynamically adjusting its plan if it hits roadblocks.
That efficiency is just staggering. Okay, let's look at the next step in integration then. Making ChatGPT part of your existing world, right? Connecting it to daily apps like Google Calendar and Gmail.
Exactly. This moves the AI interaction kind of beyond just the chat window and more into your actual professional life. We're talking about connectors.
Connectors, okay. Different from the old plugins.
Yeah, different from those sometimes clunky plugins. Connectors feel more like built-in features. They link the AI directly to specific, high-trust platforms like Google's Workspace apps.
Let's start with Google Calendar. Once you activate it in the settings, your calendar basically becomes conversational.
That's exactly it. You kind of stop using clicks and forms as much, and you start using natural language. You can just say, or type, check if I'm free next Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
If yes, create an event called Meeting with Client and Fat Company at 2 p.m. and send an invite to Sarah.
And it handles all those steps at once.
Instantly. Or even a more complex search query like, find a free 2-hour slot next week for a doctor's appointment, but make sure it doesn't clash with any internal team meetings.
Wow.
And the automation power goes further. You can schedule recurring tasks. Ask the AI to send you, say, a daily 8 a.m. email summarizing your appointments for the day.
Useful.
Or even ask it to try and move a recurring team meeting if a key person is already booked during that time.
The Gmail connection sounds equally transformative then, allowing the AI to read, understand, and even draft emails based on the conversation history. That saves huge amounts of context switching time.
Totally. You can open a really long, dense email thread from a client and just tell it, summarize this long work email into 3 action-oriented bullet points.
Nice.
Or you could say, draft a reply to Mr. Jones using a professional yet friendly turn, confirming the contract dates he mentioned yesterday. It pulls the context.
But there's a really vital safety note here, isn't there? Something you hinted at. The system is deliberately stopped from doing one key thing with email.
That's right. Super important. The system can only read, understand, and write drafts. It cannot currently send emails itself.
Okay.
The user always has to be the one to review the draft and physically hit the send button.
That seems like a sensible guardrail. So, probing question on this. Since reading emails is obviously highly sensitive, what's the primary limit imposed there for user safety?
The system is deliberately prevented from sending any email on its own behalf. Always requires user action.
Okay, got it. So what does this all mean when put together? The real power, the kind of revolutionary capability comes when you stack these features, right? Like you said, like Lego blocks of data.
Exactly. It's not really three separate features. It's more like one unified system potential.
Mm-hmm.
We can walk through a full workflow example, something that might have taken, I don't know, a couple of hours of manual work,
Yeah.
now potentially executed in just minutes, let's
Yeah.
say. Organizing a 2-hour online workshop on time management skills.
Okay, let's see the stack in action. How would that work?
All right, step one, you use agent mode.
Yeah.
You tell the agent, research and create a detailed workshop outline on time management and include 5 interesting statistics about workplace distraction.
Okay.
The agent goes off, does the research, identifies key concepts like the Eisenhower matrix, Parkinson's law, Pomodoro technique, maybe time blocking, and builds the outline.
Step 2, now we bring in the apps.
Step 2, use the Gmail connection. Based on that detailed outline the agent just made, you ask the AI. Draft 3 customized invitation emails to potential expert speakers using this outline.
Clever. Pulling the context across features.
Step 3, let's say a speaker confirms. Now you use the calendar connector. You say, schedule the final event, workshop, time management skills for next Tuesday at 10 a.m. and invite the speaker, Dr. Emily Carter, and my internal team.
And the AI handles the invites, time zones, everything.
Yep. Finds the email, sets up the calendar event, done.
Okay, what's step 4?
Step 4, personal prep. You realize you're a bit rusty on one of the topics in the outline, so you use study mode. Hey, ChatGPT, turn on study mode and teach me about the Eisenhower matrix.
Rough, full circle.
Right, and then it quizzes you on the 4 quadrants. Do it, plan it, delegate, minimize, eliminate.
Wow. Okay, so with just a few natural language commands, no coding, no complex setup, you've gone from just an idea to detailed research, targeted communication, scheduling, and even personal learning on the topic.
That's true. End-to-end automation of a small but non-trivial project.
So recapping here, we've really seen that AI is rapidly growing into, well, a genuinely helpful assistant.
Yeah.
And a patient teacher, and a powerful project manager, too. It's moved way beyond that simple Q&A box we kind of started with a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. And the 3 features we talked about, study mode, agent mode, and those app connectors, these aren't just theoretical ideas down the road.
Right.
They are immediately practical tools available right now for daily work and learning. Again, provided you're on that plus or maybe an enterprise tier.
And maybe the takeaway for you listening is, don't feel overwhelmed by how fast this is all changing.
Good point.
Start small. If you have the subscription, maybe try the calendar connector first. Ask it to summarize your schedule for tomorrow. Or ask study mode to teach you the basics of something you've always been curious about. Just experiment a little. That's how you really start to leverage this power, I think.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Now that AI can actively manage and even act upon your schedule, your communications, and your whole knowledge base, the next really fundamental question to consider is, how do we actually redefine productivity when the process itself starts getting automated like this? What kinds of tasks, what creative or conceptual or relational work suddenly becomes truly worthy of your limited human time and focus?